Good evening, one and all. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to part of your Wednesday night entertainment here at the MRS Racing League Formula One 2024. I've gone a little bit early, as you may see, and you may notice that is because I am joined for a little chat before qualifying gets underway by a man who's had a little bit of resurgence, you could say, this second half of the season. Now finds himself second in the championship, only 2 points off the top spot. It is the Williams man himself, Mr. Rockney and Mr. Liquid Gas. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, my friend. Really good, thank you. Yeah, just really, I don't want to keep you too long for this qualifying session, but what a second half of the season you're having. It's really starting to come together for you a little bit.
Yep, it's a bit like what I was just saying just before we started. I've learnt just chuck wing on the car, conserve tyres, and just let the natural aero of the Williams try and overcome the pace of the other cars, and it seems to be working. Last few races, I've been on the top two steps. I think it's last four in a row or something. So it's just
Five,
trying to
actually.
keep that up
Five in
now.
a row, yeah.
Oh, there we go. So it's just all about keeping the momentum going now.
Absolutely. Five races left, including this one, and it's still all to play for. And even if you look back to the constructor standings, I know you've mentioned this before, that you're sort of the lone Williams this season.
Yeah,
But to be fair, a good result. You can still close in on the Ferraris ahead of you. There's 16-point difference. And yeah, that's, it's definitely doable. I know the Ferraris are looking very, very strong at the moment, and Dom's having a great
yeah,
season, isn't he?
yeah. So obviously we got two Ferraris now as well as
Yeah.
Voxidian has joined. But yeah, Dom's had a very good season. He's been up there. Him and Mike, both of them, kind of sitting always on the edge of the podiums, spots, and sometimes seem to pull it out the bag. But yeah, they've both, you know, in their own respects, both had very good seasons so far themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know I'm sure that you're looking forward to trying to take that championship away from Thomas, but you've clawed it back and got ahead of Dean as well, who is unfortunately missing for him tonight. So quite a bit of an opportunity really to pull the gap a little bit on him and really take that fight to Thomas.
Yeah, it's it's going to be a tight ending to the championship. It always seems to come down to the last race, and I'm not expecting anything different to be honest this season. It's good to be back in the fight because round three or four I was kind of, I wouldn't say I conceded it, but I kind of made my peace with the fact that I probably wouldn't be fighting for it. But yeah, it's nice to be back in the fight again and in contention.
Absolutely, buddy. So, I mean, how are you feeling for this race? Obviously, it's a roller coaster ride here at Zandvoort, and looking quite nice in terms of the weather for qualifying. How do you find it? How are you quite confident for this one?
Yeah, I think it could be dominated by tyre wear tonight. To be honest, who can get better tyre deltas possibly with undercut or overcut? It's tyres just die around here, so it's going to be interesting to see if anyone, obviously with the tyre rule, see if anyone puts in a soft lap, see if anyone goes for it. But yeah, it's only really maybe 4 or 5 laps into the race where I'll get a clearer picture and see who sits where and how the race is going to unfold.
Absolutely, and of course, quite a big risk of safety car around here. It's a normal sort of circuit, but the walls are ever present, aren't they? So that's can, really, really throw something in the mix. And if you can save tyres, and you mentioned the tyre wear, but if you can save them as well.
Yeah, I think maybe overall lap pace you may lose out a couple of tenths, but easing off the gas and the fast right-handers, you can just save just a couple of percent over a race distance. That could be a big difference when it comes down to the final stages, and every bit of tyre wear and every bit of pace could be the difference to the line.
Yeah, absolutely. No, very true. Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll let you crack on with qualifying. Don't want to take up too much of your time, but absolute pleasure as always, buddy. Best of luck, and we'll see how you get on. Keep it
Cheers.
in mind.
Best of luck with the stream, mate. Take care.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Liquid Gas, currently second in the championship. And good evening to you all. Good evening, Monster. Back on the pad, I see. Okay, yeah, I'm back here. And hello, Magoo. Good evening. Please tell me who you are if you, as part of the stream. As one of our newcomers, Steely. XUFC, or Steely as he's going to be nicknamed, sets the opening lap time, and our gentleman that Strem goes just behind him, and one of the men that Jack mentioned is having a very strong season is Mike. Here he is coming towards the end of his qualifying for first run. And yeah, Jack mentioned about the tyre wear, and it is very crucial round here. You know, you can really, wow, what a lap that is for Mike at 10.2. I'm definitely going to see the 109s, I'm sure, this evening. But yeah, this is a track where the tyres can really take a hammering, especially the left-hand side, because of the fast right-handers that we have round here. So they tend to make quite a kind of overheat a little bit, and it's all about that management. And also in qualifying, the ERS management is very, very crucial as well. Easy to overuse that magic hot lap button, and then you find yourself using the full laps deployment on your run to the line, and it can cost you a couple of tenths of a second. So that could be the difference between a front row start and the top 10 itself. Quite a lot of drivers out on track at this moment. Lap times coming in thick and fast. Thomas has just put it into his Master G. Good lap from him. He wasn't using a lot of VRS as well, so there's a lot of pace, I think, in that Mercedes. 3/10 off Mike, so that's a really good lap for Master G. What about Mr. Mond? How is he getting on his opening lap? As he comes to the end of the second sector, we will do an onboard lap very soon. And this is a track that is very technical. It is very fast. There are a lot of banked corners. Here's one, for example, at the final corner as they run towards the line. Quite a bumpy circuit as well, so you've got to be careful with your ride height and suspension settings. As 10.8 for Monster, good opening lap, beats his teammate. Just once again, those two Red Bulls are so evenly matched this season, especially in qualifying. That is a 100th of a second separating them. But yeah, this is a track that is very technical. It's important to carry a lot of speed, but you can easily overdo it, and if you go into those exit curves, they can suck you off into the grass, and it is, like I said, very, very bumpy indeed. So one for the drivers to keep their eye on and to manage, as Kavos, as I'm calling him, Kavos goes in 10th at 11.4. Jack's going to start his opening lap. We'll leave him be for now. Who is on another lap? Vexman, the other Red Bull, doing a second lap. And he's invalidated. That's a shame for him. And who's on it? Grimmo in the pits, going on a good lap, 1,000th behind Blood Diamond, who's also having a very good season indeed. And Blood Diamond currently lying 7th in the championship. Got a little bit of a buffer to Monster and a little bit of a buffer to Vexman ahead. Monster is only 1 point ahead of Grimmo, so that is going to really play in, I think, as the end of the season kicks in. But the McLaren and Red Bull, well, I'll say it's the Red Bulls and the V-Carbs, 20 points difference in the championship, so that is definitely do or die for the lead team in that one. That's a definite another bit of pride, and they have had some really good performances between them this season. And I'm sure this track is, as I mentioned, a difficult circuit. It's hard over the race distance, sort of keep your focus a little bit, because it is so fast and furious, and it just comes at you so quickly. Every little corner, Jack puts it in a 1:11 for now. But yeah, everyone, it's just a hard one to keep focus, because you've got to manage your braking points for these fast corners. You don't want to brake too much because you lose some time. You don't want to brake too late because the car will understeer and drift wide, and then you lose even more time. And of course, those treacherous exit curves in the grass, as mentioned, very much a danger for all of the drivers this evening. So M2 is on a lap. There's Dom's had a couple of laps. Liquid gas on a cool down. We've just seen him pop it into 9th as it is now. Let's have a look at M2D2. Had a cracking race last time out in Qatar under the lights, and I'm sure you'll want to cement that with another strong performance this evening. And if you haven't seen it yet, please do watch it. It is on the Twitch channel. It's also been, or they will all be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you haven't already liked and subscribed to it, please check us out. It is MRS Racing Racing Series, I do apologise. Mainstream Racing Series on YouTube. So please do join us. And then as of next season, which will be on F1 25, I am sure, where we will continue racing. And we've got two drivers, one on Xbox, one on PC. Thomas on PC, currently in 5th. That's important for the championship, of course. Again, Liquid Glass there in 9th. But, of course, no points are gained in qualifying. And as Jack mentioned, the tyre strategies are going to be crucial for a strong race performance. And Jack grabbed P2 last time out on the alternate strategy round Qatar. And I wonder if he's going to do similar. And is it worth using the soft tyres to get that grid position? Or are you more looking at the long game? Are you looking at potentially trying to use a set of mediums or a set of hard tyres at the start, going long without, of course, whoa, and that's a V-carb round. That was Grimo, and that's the big risk, as we mentioned. You put the power out too much, that rear just goes. And that was in front of Thomas. I don't know if it put him off a bit on his next lap. We'll have a look as he crosses the line. It is an improvement at 3/10 up to 2nd. So that lap for Mike is still holding firm. But Grimo, that's unlucky for him. He's going to have to use that set of tyres now. Monster now starting his 2nd run. So is his teammate just ahead of him as well on track. But everybody do get involved in the chat when you can. I know most of you are actually on track, are watching, but if you're watching for your downtime on this Wednesday evening, good evening to you, and please do get involved. It'd be lovely to have you with me. And it's interesting that a few drivers are using a second set of soft tyres. And I mention that because we normally see a soft tyre run with a few laps on them. Dom, 5 laps for example. Steely on 3 laps for his tyres. And, pardon me, then we normally see the medium tyre one, which Jack looks like he's going to be doing. What can Vexman do? Can he make an improvement? It's not. He's lost half a second on that lap, so a mistake somewhere in the lap. Monster, he's bailed on his lap as well, but won't have taken too much life out of his tyres. Kevos quite close to his previous time. Oh, good save. Good save from that man there. That could have ended in disaster. Ended up sort of how Grimo did. Trem on another warm-up lap. Let's have a look at Mike. We're going to do an on-board with the McLaren man as he's on his opening lap, and I'm going to butcher every single corner name, as I usually do around this circuit. It's now become a thing and a big theme that I cannot pronounce these Dutch names. But Mike now giving up. I hope he actually does a fast lap now I've said this, because if he does another warm-up lap, I'm going to look very silly indeed, which again is not out the ordinary in commentary if you've ever listened to me before. But there then, Mike Taylor, let's ride on board, round the banking of turn 14, down the bumpy start, finish straight. DRS is wide open, using a lot of his overtake button, heavy braking around the 70-metre board into Tarzan. Can easily do it to the rear, doesn't want to run too wide, uses that exit curve very nicely. The flick into turn 2, can easily lose the rear into there, and then the hard braking round Hugenholtz. Turn 3, that was nice exit. Round Hunsrug, there it was. Turn 5, there it is. And then Slotmacher, there it is as well. Turn 6 into Srivlach. And that is turn 7, easy to run wide round there. Use a bit of that curve to go into turn 8, and then turn 9, pick your braking point. Long corner, runs very wide indeed. Oh, Mike. And he is bailed out of that one. Too much speed into turn 9 there. And we've got Vexman on a quick lap behind, so we'll continue the lap from the turn 10 down. Yeah, he's 4/10 down, so I think he will bail on this lap as well. And it's interesting that people that seem to be on their second laps seem to not really gain any time at the moment on their second runs. People seem to be pushing the track, not necessarily coming up to them as you would normally expect the track to rubber in and give you that little bit more grip. How is Jack getting on these medium tyres? as he comes towards the end of the second sector. He's 3-7 up. That's a really good middle sector. So we go around turn 11, turn 12, and he loses the rear. Scribbo did earlier. So maybe took a bit too much of that inside curve around the left-hander and really unsettled the car. Could not get the power down, unfortunately for him. What can Voxy Bingo do? Oh, he's slipping and sliding as well around there. Driver's really finding it tough at the moment. He might be on an hidden lap. He's not got any of his ERS. And he has shut his DRS as well, so that's the pits for the Ferrari. But yeah, interesting that a lot of these drivers are struggling on their second runs here. It's beautiful sunshine, beautiful conditions, so you'd think now they'll have worked out where the grip is and understand how the car's feeling and reacting to them. But Master G, he's 2/10 up through the first sector. Trem's had a collision somewhere. Wow, Trem and Kevos, the two in 13th, 14th, have had a collision and 5-place penalty for Trem. So he's going to start at the moment at the back of the grid. That's really tough for him. And not ideal. Because he's the lone, well, he's not Mike up there. They're fighting for the constructors as well, trying to cover that second spot from the kick Sauber team. Master G coming into the final two corners now, turn 13, don't want to run too far wide. Nails it absolutely nicely indeed. Takes the inside line, trying to get as much straight line speed as possible. With the DRS wide open and the run towards the line. What is it? It's a 10-1 for Master G, provisional pole position. So, said how good he's been. That's a fantastic lap. Really pulled that one out the bag, and it is going to be soft tyre start. I think it's a top 5, I think it is. They're going to be top 4, top 5 are going to be starting on their qualifying tyre. So it's going to be interesting now who leaves the pits, which they'll be leaving in the next 30 seconds. Trem is retired in the pits, so he will start from the back of the grid, saving some extra tyres for the race, because as mentioned, anything can happen around here, and it usually does in Zandvoort. Roller coaster ride. And again, safety cars are a risk. The weather is also a risk around here. It's not too far from the beach, close to the North Sea, this track. And when the weather comes in, it can come in quite heavily. We've seen that in real life in a couple of years gone past, as well as this beautiful sunshine that they seem to get. And it's quite northern, so I'm surprised we don't get it here in the northeast. Oh, I don't anyway, and it's quite depressing. I'm not gonna lie, they get better sunshine than I do. Well, I'll tell you what, Jack's put a 10.3 on those medium tyres, so that second lap of his really worked out very well for him. Now, he's done 3 laps though, so I think he'll be coming back into the pits and saving them. He wouldn't want to start with too much wear on them. Master G is retired in the pit, so his session is done and ran. Provisional pole position. Mike, though, in response, is leaving the pit lane. He will have one attempt to get back to that pole position that he is coveting. What about Blood Diamond? This is a slow lap, maybe winding up now for one more push. And the final lap for all of these drivers. 50 seconds left of the session. M2D2 has now got into 7th as well, splits the V-carbs. Monster is going to be looking for an improvement to get as well on par with his teammate. Currently there in 10th. Well, everyone apart from the 2 retirees, Vexman and Kevos, on track. So 10 drivers on track now. The lap times are going to come thick and fast. Who's coming round the pit? Someone has pitted. That was not Stella. That was Jack. What's Stella doing? How is he going to fare? Using the best of his battery now, and he does improve, but only slightly. That's 11th for him. Monster slightly up on his time. Needs a Monster final sector. I like his helmet. I actually understood the assignment here. A proud Aston Villa supporter. And I'm not really into kicky ball, so I don't know any more than that, but I think they got knocked out of Europe the other night. As far as I'm aware, I'm sure I saw Monster mention that. Little improvement, stays 10th though for Monster. Well, she'll be in the chat shortly explaining what has actually happened. Mike pips it back. Oh, Mike at the death. Grimo in third. Thomas now in third. Tony lap times are going to come, and I'm focused on completely the wrong drivers for that one, folks. I do apologise, but that is so tight. At the top, look at that. 10.05 beats a 10.10 and a 10.11. Wow, that is so close. Grimo's pipped liquid gas as well. What is Dom going to do over the line? Is he going to move up? And he does. I think that was 8th as he crossed the line. It is for Dom. Well, that was a furious end to qualifying, wasn't it, folks? Let's go through the order. Wow, 0.039 a second separating the top three. That is incredible. So Mike is taking pole position ahead of Master G. Then we've got Thomas, the championship leader, in third, with Grimo in fourth. Jack on the mediums in fifth. He'll be happy with that one. Then Blood Diamond in sixth. Vexman, the lead Red Bull, in seventh, with Dom in 8th. M2, C2 or D2 is in 9th in the Aston Martin Monster, round out the top 10. Then we got Voxy in 11th, Stella in 12th, Trem with that 5-place penalty. So does Kevos, so they will both start in their positions 13th and 14th. Well, that was a furious end to it. Wow, that was crazy. So it was a bit overcast here, folks. That is going to throw something else into the mix. And what I mean by that is tyre temperatures. The track levels and the grip levels at the track are going to be very difficult, especially if you're deciding you're going to try and start on the harder tyres. This could throw people's strategy up in the air quite a little bit now. I'll be surprised if we see any hard tyres. It's going to be tough for them in these opening laps, especially with the heavy fuel. So I'd be amazed if we do see them. I think mediums, maybe the soft tyres, of course, are going to be used here. But again, like we said, that strategy, all important when it comes to the overall race. And of course, that I mentioned the risk of safety cars. I saw a few drivers lose the rear and hit a wall in qualifying. And there are chances here to go side by side, but it's quite a narrow circuit, this one. There's a few areas where we may see people out of turn 1 into turn 2 and 3. Even if you're very brave, get alongside on the exit of 3 through that 4, 5, 6, 7 complex, that straight that's not so straight. And then, of course, that middle sector is going to be very, very tough. The 2 DRS zones. Second one, usually not really an overtaking point unless you're right up the gearbox of the car in front and have a bit of battery, and you can try and make the move into turn 11. That right-hander into the hairpin. But you've got to be careful about leaving space through there because how tight and how narrow it is. The main overtaking point is, of course, turn 1. If you get the run through turn 13 and around the banking of turn 14, the DRS straight down the start-finish, out braking into turn 1, that is your usual spot to overtake, and I'd imagine we'll see a few of them. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So, drivers now just finishing their setups, finishing their strategies, picking their tyre choice, of course, as well, and fuel loads as well. Surprisingly, this can be quite heavy on fuel around this track. You spend a lot of time on full throttle, and of course, with the medium speed corners that we have around here, majority are 4th and 3rd gear corners. Some people may choose to use a higher gear just for the traction and changing down to, let's say, 3rd gear to get the rotation of the car, upshift early to 4th for the traction to stop those rear wheels from spinning up. And this now is going to be a very intriguing battle, ladies and gents. So I hope you're all strapped in. I know you can't like the stream, but if you can join me in the commentary box, that would be absolutely superb, as always. And I'm sure in a few seconds' time, we will start to go live with the formation lap. But a quick rundown again of those championships. Kick Sauber way ahead, 400 points, 103 points ahead of McLaren in second, who only have a tiny margin ahead of Red Bull on 288, and then have 20 points to VCarb behind them. Let's have a look now. As we are on board, let's have a look at those tyres. Now, it is an interesting one. Thomas is on the mediums. I'm pretty sure he set that lap time on the soft, so I'm intrigued about that. But a mix. We've not seen the hard tyres, which we sort of guessed at because of the cloudy weather. So I wonder if Thomas will use those set the softs later in the race. But yeah, soft tyres for Grimo, Liquid Gas and Blood Diamond, Fexman down to Monster on the mediums, then Voxy on the softs, Stella on the mediums, Trem on softs, and Kevos on the medium tyres. Now, Mike's really going at this formation. I've quite a big gap here that he's got over Master. There's a big gap as well. There's a lot of gaps here through the formation lap, but Mike pushing a little bit too much there. Trying to get the heat in them, but doesn't want to take too much life out of them. You don't actually see on your MFD the wear on the tyres around the formation lap, but it does happen. You can get some wear if you take them too hard, but it's all about the temperature for these drivers. Mike now already coming down to the start-finish straight on the banking. He's going to be sat on the grid for a good minute, I would say, because Kevos only coming into turn 11 at the moment. So Mike, I wonder if he's missed his bathroom break and is trying to do that and quickly dash to the bathroom. It kind of wouldn't surprise me with Mike, let's be perfectly honest. But now the drivers coming thick and fast to line up on the grid. We are looking from quite a way back. Normally we actually look from turn 1, so a bit disappointed about that, I'm not going to lie. We'll have to ride on board with the pole sitter. Voxy couldn't park his car in the required place. He Lando Norris that one a little bit, so did Kevos. But now we're going to be on board with Mike, with every driver on the grid. We've got 36 racing laps about to get underway with 5 red lights, and MRS goes racing, didn't hold them for long. Good getaway from Master G in second. Good one. It's all fair and square. A little bit dicing further back. The 2 Ferraris with Trem as well. Got a monster start. There's been a collision. I think that's Monster caught up in it. It was. Hopefully he hasn't got wing damage. Has he lost the end plate? No, he doesn't. So he's okay to continue. Left a slight tap, but poor start for Monster. He's now down in 14th. But I think there's Trem's gone round. Oh, there's been a collision with him and Dom. Dom! Big collision with a Ferrari. Round turn 3. Doesn't seem to be any damage with Trem, but that's Dom. But that's huge championship there. And look at that one stop. They're saying the softs are going to be able to last and go to the medium tyres. But let's go back to the front where Mike has a 4/10 of a second gap over Master G. Thomas got a good getaway. Liquid Gas managed to jump ahead of Grimo in the first corner and now leads both those V-carbs, and on the back of Thomas. Now again, that's an alternate strategy there that Thomas is using, so that's going to be interesting how that plays out during the course of this race. And all the drivers still within DRS of each other. Monster, even though he got caught up a little bit, I think he was squeezed by a Ferrari in the first corner. Oh, Mike, I think there was a tap with Master G. Was very slow at the apex of turn 1. Got a tap from behind because he went very defensive. And this is just going to be who can get the tyre temps up now, because the track grip is not going to be what it was in qualifying. It's going to be hard for them to cause heavy fuel as well, don't forget, ladies and gents. So the car is going to behave a lot differently to what it did in qualifying a few moments ago. And there we have the top 2 in the championship, nose to tail once again, I might add, where Jack is going to be looking to try to get through as quick as he can. Don't forget DRS. Here it is now available. Thomas just dropping to 9/10 back from the top 2. Around here it is difficult to get that time back, and just dropping to about a second. He's used maybe a little bit of his battery there to get that back, but there's the DRS line, the detection line, and I think he was outside of a second. This could leave him vulnerable to Jack now down the start finish straight. Jack using his battery, using the DRS. There it is on the Williams, and he goes to the outside and gets the move done. Important for Jack, not just championship but also the strategy. Soft tyres, of course, for him and Thomas's mediums. Wants to make that Count Monster up on a recovery, up to 11th. Good move from him, Voxy and Stelly. Two new drivers doing battle just ahead, and they've got quite a bit of time with their battling. That's almost 3 seconds, that gap, so that's going to be vital for them to push on, especially Voxy on the softs. A few little gaps forming, and that's what happens on this circuit because of the higher speeds that we see around here. Any little mistake can easily be punished. If you run a little bit wide, can't get the throttle down as much as you want, that is where it's going to really hurt you. As see Stelly there going a little bit wide. But the gaps now starting to really form. The top 8 now starting to get away from the rest of the pack and from their own DRS train. It's going to be interesting to see what Liquid Gas can do. I don't know if he got the DRS. It just kept to about a second. Has he got it? Yes, he did. But look at this, Master G and Mike going wheel to wheel into turn 1. Master G goes around the outside, makes the move as Liquid Gas has actually set the fastest lap of the race there. On, so we start lap 4. Monster has pit. I don't know if he had damage or so, but maybe he just doesn't like those medium tyres. He's gone to the hard tyres. Interesting call. Kevos, speeding in the pit lane. That's a 10-second penalty. Slam dunk for him. Monster early stop. I wonder if he felt there was damage. I just didn't like those mediums at all. So interesting that he's gone to the hard tyres. Clean air for him. Now we'll look to push on. And he can go quite long into this race now, can Monster. But yeah, this will be interesting to see if he can get the warmth in him, see if he can get the grip through it as well. They're going to be a bit shaky for the first couple of laps. Thomas has dropped off the back of these top 3 now. He's going to be under pressure from Grimo and the other V-Carb, and of course the lead Red Bull right there behind. Don't forget they're in a championship battle, the V-Carbs and Red Bulls. That's going to be very tight. Clear this time round. Thomas managed to hold on. As Stella and Voxy still doing battle. This is a good little tussle between the two new boys. Of course, this is not equal performance as well, so the theory is the Ferrari should be a quicker car, but to be fair, if you watch the Bahrain race at the weekend, Alpines definitely weren't a slouch. They're great racemen, both their drivers. I'm going to these big battles up ahead. Oh, who was that went wide? That was Grimo, very wide indeed. Through 9 into 10, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. You get onto those curbs, and there's nothing you can do. You have to hold on and hope you don't lose the car, and just try to just back it off, let the car settle, and then get back onto the black stuff. Yeah, lovely helicopter cam with Vexman and Grimo right behind him. Blood Diamond just dropped. I think he would have just been in a second, to Thomas, and that would be important with Vexman on his tail. He didn't, so he could be vulnerable in this straight. Liquid Gas making a move on Mike. I think I broke himself into turn 1. I saw a puff of smoke, and he has. Liquid Gas, importantly, now through to P2. Now chasing after the Mercedes ahead, so 3 Mercedes powered cars as well in the top 3, leading the way from Thomas. Blood Diamond with Vexman behind. Monster hasn't quite got those hard tyres working yet. The gap hasn't started to come down, but say he just has to be patient. But points on offer still this evening, so he can just keep on going long and deep into this race and see if anything happens as well to bring him back into the mix. But this is where you find it a bit tougher. Dom's in the same situation, so is Trem. There's a bit of a gap to the car ahead and the car behind, so they're sort of almost just they've got to pump in the lap times, and this is the hardest part, to keep the focus. It's a little bit easier when you have cars around you and you're battling, because you are really key on getting your braking points right. There's now Liquid Gas, moves to the inside in turn 1, makes the move, and he got Mike the lap before, and now 1 lap later, the start of lap 7, Liquid Gas takes the lead of the race. And let's see what the pace this Williams has. can he potentially pull away from these two? And Thomas has closed the gap a little bit on the top three by about a second the last lap. It was about 4 seconds. So those mediums now starting to come into their own. The softs starting to wear a little bit. Not giving the full grip that they had and were affording 2 laps ago. But now, yeah, he's really coming down that gap, Thomas. Now he's really pushing on. And this is where the mediums are going to really play into his hands, and it's bringing Blood Diamond, Vexman, Grimmer and M2 with him as well, so that's crucial for them that they stick with this, as Mike's dropped outside of the window, but Master G certainly hasn't. He is right up the gearbox of Jack. Is he going to retake the lead on this lap? You would start to think so. DRS wide open for the Mercedes. Jack's going to make him go the long way round. The overspeed, that's side by side, wheel to wheel in turn 1. Jack keeps the inside line. Master has to go the long way round. He gets the traction out, but Jack's just ahead. I was able to move back on the racing line. There is a pit stop. That was Blood Diamond. He's pit. Now, he's on the soft tyres, Doctor. He starts on those, so that's interesting that he's only done 7 laps on those tyres and decided to bail on them. Staley as well, actually. He's on the medium, so interesting. I think Monster may have had a moment somewhere, because gaps up and down a minute. We'll leave those. Oh, dude, Master G having a look into turn 10. Not normally a place you'd have a look. He sticks his nose in, but he's going to have the DRS now to keep on the back of Jack, and this allowed Mike to close. Back up, goes very deep though, just about keeps it on track, does Mike. So we've got a perfect view of it. Tell you what, Master G seems to be doing well with his tyres. He gets good traction, runs a little bit deep through there, and snaky as well. That may put him under pressure for Mike behind and give Jack a little bit of a less something to think about, but Mike not able to close up. Master G's now going for a late move on the inside. Jack gives him room, sees him coming. Jack was flashing away with his ERS battery. Master G on the inside line gets the move done and retakes the lead of the race. Quite understeering Mike's car at this moment. It seems to be he's turned the wheel and doesn't seem to be responding very pointy as much as he probably would like. So Blood Diamond's come out behind Trem in 11th. Fresh medium tyres. You'd think he would get through on the McLaren driver. First man in the penalty box, Steely, after his pit stop, gets a 3-second penalty. There's only 1 or 2 places you can actually run wide round here, so interesting that he's managed to do that. Liquid Gas now fighting there into turn 1, way ahead. Others are going to let those two have a battle, because we've got this one here for 4th place. Thomas back to 2.5 seconds off them, as Mike has made a mistake somewhere and he is now dropped to 1.5 seconds. Now does get through on Trem with the DRS. Also starting to close on the back of Trem now, so those hard tyres starting to work a little bit as the softs start to hurt a little bit, start to get a little bit slidey. Don't have that turn in, don't have the overall traction and that pull out of the corners that you had a few laps back. But now it is this battle of nutrition. Who can keep the tyres in a good window, as Jack mentioned. Just back off a little bit around some of the corners to try to save that 1 or 2% on them and try to keep some of the wear off, especially that left hand side as mentioned, because they're the ones that are going to overheat and hurt a lot, because these right hand corners the car sort of leans a little bit. They are very stiff, of course, these cars, with hardly any give in the suspension, as Grimmo has bailed and pitted now on end of lap 9. Oh, and speeds at the pit lane, 10 seconds for Grimmo. Maybe a lapse of concentration for him. That'll hurt come the end of the race, but we're not leaving this battle, because Vexman has got through on Thomas. of course they're on same tyres. M2's dropped off the back as well. Grimmo's coming up behind Trem ahead of Monster, so he had a gap there. I think Monster had a moment, he has had a spin somewhere and lost his wing. This is a tricky track, and I know Monster's not the biggest fan of this one. Probably have to pit. No, he's going to try and carry on. Maybe he doesn't. He'll see how he feels this lap, but that is not going to feel very nice on the Red Bull this evening. Foxy now joins the 3-second club. Is that another one? No, just the one. But now, reaching the end of lap 11, who out of these two is going to pit first? Who is going to blink? And the undercut can be very, very powerful. Neither of them this lap round. What about Mike? Nope, he's continuing as well. Going to take them, you'd probably say about lap 14, maybe lap 15. If you possibly can, maybe put the set of medium boots on, and he should be able to go to the end of there with that one, because we've got 24 laps to go. Maybe try and take him a little bit longer if possible, maybe at least lap 15 to 16 if you've really been looking after them. Grimmo and Trem having a ding-dong battle, but Grimmo fresh medium tyres. He gets through, back up into 10th. Mike just on his own, he's dropped a little bit of time to Vexman. Like I said, these mediums are going to be feeling a little bit better, a little bit more consistent than the soft tyres at this stage of the race. But a lot of gaps formed as Kevos pits for the second time this race. And manages to get the car stopped. And no 10-second penalty for him. And the top two, they're coming down to the start-finish straight. About this lap. Are we continuing on? We certainly are. So we'll leave them be. Thomas really close now to the back of the Red Bull. He's going to make the move. I think this is going to be a done deal. The kick Sauber gets back through and does get back up into 4th. I think this is a fight we're going to see for quite some time. And M2 there in the background, sitting nicely. He's doing what he needs to do. There is Kevos come out the pits a lap down just ahead of him. Grimmo now gets through on his teammate with the DRS, so he is absolutely flying. Grimmo now made that mistake in qualifying, but good qualifying nonetheless. And early pit stop for him. 10-second penalty is going to hurt later on, especially if he has to pit again. So the man's on a charge to try and negate as much of that as possible. Now we've got nice clean air, 5.3 second gap to Dom ahead of him, who's on a push to come back as well after that third corner incident on lap 1 with Trem, who hasn't quite had the pace this evening on the soft tyres. And speaking of the man, he's now got a 3-second penalty. Sorry for jinxing you. But Mike really dropped off the back of the top two now, not able to have the pace on the soft tyres, holding on I think as best he can as Liquid Gas is the first man to pit of the top two. So what tyres is he going to go on? We'll keep an eye on that one. I would imagine it'll be the medium tyres, and he'll take those as long as he can, potentially to the end. And it is the mediums for the Williams. Where's he going to come out? We've got the two Ferraris coming down the start-finish straight. I think he's going to come out behind them both. There's Dom in the middle of turn 1. This is going to be close on exit, but yet Dom's carrying the speed. Trem's 10-second penalty, difficult night for him. But Liquid Gas there ahead of Grimmo in 8th. Now we've got to try to get through these as quick as he possibly can, because the undercut is powerful. It's going to be interesting to see when Master G decides to pit. Is he going to pit in response to Liquid Gas? Because the grip that he's going to have is going to be monstrous, but he has that traffic though. That's going to be crucial. That could really, really help Master G. He's not going to know exactly where Jack is on track. He may be half looking at his map, but he won't be fully sure. He does react, look at that. Makes the intentions early. Doesn't speed in the pits either. But Mike now takes the lead of the race, doesn't pit this lap. Thomas and Vexman continuing on as well, of course they are on the mediums. Foxy's going on as well, but this is important for Jack to get through on Dom. He's got the DRS on his teammate, but Jack trying to have a... Oh, I think that might have been a little bit of a tap. on the back of the Ferrari. There's a few little bits of movement there. Master G comes out the pit lane, runs a little bit wide. Might have been a warning for the white line, but now Liquid Gas does get through on Dom. So that was important, vitally important for Liquid Gas to make that move. He's got a car between him and Master G, and now he's got to make move on the other Ferrari and get through as quick as possible because Foxy has not pitted on those soft tyres. So this is vital now for Jack to get through, to try to bridge a gap onto Master G behind. Trying different lines, maybe trying the outside line. Is he going to try the switch back with the DRS? He is. The Williams has got the drive there. I think Master G got a good run as well. The Ferrari had to back out of it though, but Liquid Gas does make that move into turn 11. Teed that up very, very well indeed, using the superior grip of those fresh medium tyres as now Mike pits. But I tell you what, Master G's not having all his own way to go. Oh, Mike, 10-second penalty. That's brutal for him. Oh, Dom got very squirrely onto the banking. That's allowed Master G to go around the outside, but all of these guys have got the DRS. Where is the Mercedes? There he is. He's trying to go. He's had to back out a little bit. I thought he might have had another move to the inside and can't. So look at that. That is vital. Absolutely vital. M2's pitted and got to the hard tyres. Interesting that he's chosen those to go. 20 laps to go still, which will feel like an absolute eternity for some of these drivers. But Liquid Gas now clean air ahead of Voxy, who's got both those Ferraris between, ahead of Master G, and that's going to be vital for strategy. Let's look at these two. It's a sea of red with a topping of silver and black as Dom's decided to go around the outside. What a move that is from Dom. Teed that one up. And Voxy, oh, squirreling away. Lost 2 positions that middle sector. Those soft tyres have cried enough, I think, at this point. Oh, Mossy, I thought was going to have a look. That's Kevos ahead. Unfortunately, a lap down. Oh, struggling. Oh, it's unfortunate. Hits the wall there. That's a new wing for him. Unlucky. But now Mossy, I'm sure, will make swift work of the Ferrari. Ferrari goes to the inside, sort of thinking, yep, okay, I'll give you that one. Nothing I can do about that one. Surprisingly, Voxy didn't pit there. The way he was screwing around and the wear on his tyres. Once it's worked his way back up to 12, which is early pit stop, but done 12 laps on those hard tyres already. And to be fair, he's got that wing damage as well, so he's doing quite well. So full credit where it's due. Still points on offer, but now we've got the top 2. And Jack has closed a huge amount to these top 2. That was a 10-second gap only 2 laps ago, and now 7.6 seconds. So you can see the grip difference between the fresh tyres. And of course he's going to try to get as close as he possibly can, because of course when these two pit they'll be on the soft tyres and they'll be very quick indeed. So this is going to be a game of cat and mouse. We saw it last time out with Liquid Gas, of course, on the alternate strategy. Kind of is the main battles. Mike, oh there you go, Voxy has now decided to pit. 16 laps on the soft tyres, credit where that's due as well. That's a really good stint. He'll be able to take those mediums to the end as we reach half race distance. But Blood Diamond and Grim have come to the back of Mike now, because that has really hurt Mike massively in the fact that he got held up by the Ferraris. Blood Diamond ahead of Grimmo. That's not going to help the team game, but 3 lap difference between the two in terms of tyre wear. Grimmo still feel like he's got that little bit more, but being that close to his teammate is going to hurt those tyres in the long run. Oh, it goes very wide indeed. Oh, that's not the place to go wide. Did well, because you can really, really hurt yourself on there. Jack's taking another second and a half out in this last lap on the top 2, so he is pushing on. But Master G's a little bit quicker. He's taken half a second out of Jack, so this one is not over by a long stretch, ladies and gents. So it's going to be interesting to see what Grimmo can do. Got to get a 10-second penalty for that cash up there. Mike now got to the back of Dom and makes that move. That was important for him with his fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 12 dead. 2.7 from Master G, who did drop a few tenths there, but Jack absolutely on a mission right now to close down. Vexman can't do anything about Thomas. He's been up the back of him for quite a few laps now. Just not able to make the move, maybe just sitting there on purpose. Just happy to be pulled along by the Kick Sauber, now championship leader. Jack doesn't want to take too much out of his tyres. All these people who have pit already, they want to be careful with their tyres towards the end of this race, as I mentioned about Vexman just sitting there. Now makes the move into turn 11. I'm sure that will come back in 2 corners time. But we saw Voxy take the soft tyres 16 laps. Now, that's a really good stint. So he'll be okay, I think, on those mediums towards the end of this race. He'll be fine. But it's going to be interesting now, because we're bordering on. Now is just start lap 20. At the end of this lap, we will have those 16 laps left. Are we going to see anybody risk it and take that early pit stop? As Stiggs is out, that's in the pits. Oh, it's unlucky for him. He's having a difficult night. But that is in the pit lane. Now Jack only 2 seconds back. He'll be able to see the top 2 ahead of him, and if we ride on board with, there they are going into turn 8, turn 9, there they are, and Jack just cruising up to the back, bringing Master G with him a little bit. Mike's just dropped a touch, still struggling for the overall pace. Dom now on his own. Blood Diamond's got his teammate up the back of him still, so that'll be going on for some time as well. Dom, of course, still to pit in the Ferrari, currently in 6th. Top 2 still to pit. Monster probably has to pit again, because he put the hard tyres on quite early and he has that wing damage. I'd be surprised if he could take it all the way to the end, but he's untroubled at this moment in time, as the top 2 have both pit together. We've made it to the end of lap 20, and we said, is that, are they going to risk those soft tyres? Vexman has. Is Thomas doing it as well? Further down the pit lane, yes he has. Wow. So folks, we're on for a storming finish, because they have come out behind the 2 V-carbs by quite a distance as well. So now then, Thomas in clear air. I'm sure he will close that gap to Blood Diamond at a rate of knots. And then he's got to get past those 2. He probably will pit again and then close to the back of Mike and Master G, who has, oh, Blood Diamond 3 seconds penalty. Master G's taken half a second, maybe 6 tenths out of liquid gas in this lap, so I don't know if liquid gas just burnt his tyres a little bit, going through that grading phase that does happen with the medium tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see how he holds on, because Jack is really losing time at this moment. So Master G really on the charge. But Jack won't see exactly where Thomas and Vexman have come out. He will see the top 5 in his delta. And now Blood Diamond has pit for the 2nd time. So now when Thomas and Vexman go through, that is where liquid gas will see. There it is, Thomas. Now in 5th, he will see that. He'll be able to work out the gaps and calculate now with 14 laps left. Let's have a look at those gaps. To the leader, that is 17.5 seconds. That gap to Jack. And don't forget, this is about the championship as well. We've still got 4 more rounds after this one. So we're not yet done. This will lead us quite close to the end of this game cycle as well, then, before we have F1 25 coming to our consoles and our PCs, and I'm sure some incredible racing to be had on that, if the beta is to be believed. And I'm not allowed to say too much, of course, because I do assign you sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, when you do the beta testing. But I quite liked it, I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed it. I like those certain aspects I was hit and miss about, but there is some of it I do like. So hopefully, with it being on the new gen consoles as well, it's going to be a lot smoother. I think the graphics are similar, if not a little bit better, than we have now. But there's nothing wrong with the graphics, to be honest with you. I quite like the graphics. I think they're absolutely fine. But then I think the way the handling is, that's the key point, the handling. So we will see. I know there's another beta to be had, I think, at the end of this month. I think it's next weekend, the weekend after, of course, our Easter holidays. But then it'll be something I'll be looking forward to testing and giving my feedback again to EA. I'm sure many other people will as well. Master G now very, very close to this second window. He's actually in the DRS now. He has really closed down Liquid Gas. Has Liquid Gas gone a little bit early and burnt his tyres a little bit too much and not really enjoying those medium tyres? Are we going to see a second pit stop? Because that gap is with Thomas and Vexman. It's come crashing down. As now Thomas is almost within the DRS to Grimmore. I expect to see Grimmore pit soon as well, but look at this, the DRS is wide open. There it is on the Mercedes, closing down the Williams. And interesting, there's only one lap difference in the tyres there. Dom has gone through, and there Grimmore has now pit for the second time. That's released Thomas and Vexman. As Thomas now into the 111s, sets the fastest lap of the race. And now that's only, what's that, 15-second gap? 12 laps to go. And Thomas will see those gaps as well ahead. He will see Master G right on the back of Liquid Gas. And if those two start fighting and holding each other up as we've seen, that gap will come tumbling down and give Thomas, on those reverse strategies, and Vexman, of course, a chance potentially the top step of the podium this evening. But we've seen those mediums not really go as long as we thought, because they've managed to do about 15, 16 laps, not really much longer. I mean, we saw, of course, Thomas and Vexman take them to about lap 20, but that was about it, and they were crying out towards the end. Here's Master G with the DRS wide open on the Williams. Jack is very good at the brakes into turn 1 and does again. Oh, there's been a bit of contact. There's that Jack in the wall. He's managed to save it. There was a bit of carbon fibre flying, but I think that was just the graphics because the end plates are okay on both cars. But now, that's it now. Jack's going to have to get the hammer down. Vexman sets the fastest lap time, just trading with Thomas by mere thousandths of a second. Dom beat it by 4/10 of a second in clean air, so that man absolutely on the charge as well in the Ferrari. Monster doing well. He's in 11th. He's using the hard tyres. Monster's still on. Let's have a look at those penalties again. So 10 seconds for Mike for that speeding in the pit lane. That's going to be crucial towards the end. I think probably he's more looking at Dom. That's a 20-second gap to Dom that Mike's going to be looking at, because of course Thomas and Vexman are closing up now on him. Still got about 10 seconds though. And then we've got 3 seconds with Diamond and for Voxy as well, and Tremp as well. So doing okay so far in terms of the penalties. We had a little bit of a spurt, didn't we, folks, of a few penalties, lap in, lap out. Vexman's still at the back of their Voxy. Has now got another 3 seconds to add to that. So Grimmore's going to be trying to close down. He's got quite a bit of time actually. He was right with his teammate, and I mean, he did serve a 10-second penalty, let's be fair. So that gap, 10 seconds off the back, Voxy would give him to 2 seconds, so yeah, it would be about right, with the difference in the tyres and the undercut they would have used. And I think that's Trem getting out the way for the leaders. They've got one for Trem as well this evening, but the man there he is just up the road from there is Monster. Potentially going to be a lap down, but he has got only half a front wing and done a very long stint on these hard tyres. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pit again, maybe put another set of soft tyres on, go to the end and repair that front wing, and I think he'll be quite quick, but he'll still get points with the Red Bull this evening. As speak of the devil, he has just pitted. It's almost like he heard me. It's almost like he had the stream on. Medium tyres to the end. They'll be nice and comfortable. But now this gap hasn't really come down a huge amount to Mike, so Mike's showing some really good pace at this moment in time, as with Thomas and Vexman doing a little battle between themselves. And all the while, that is going to help Liquid Gas and Master G, don't forget. It's also helping Mike because he's got 3-second penalty, so that gap, take 3 seconds off that 9.9. And the tyre difference as well. But we saw in the first stint, don't forget, ladies and gents, the mediums, most people were taking them about 9-10 laps, give or take. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe 13 laps. It was only Voxy that took them 16 laps. He's now finds himself in 9th. A little bit out of position, I would say, but only because of the strategy that he used, that one-stop soft to the mediums, and managed to take them their full distance, and was very shaky towards the end indeed. But this now, with a lot more laps to go, this could be that territory for Thomas and Vexman. How are we going to see these soft tyres behave? A lot less fuel, though, on board. So the car's going to be that bit lighter as Liquid Gas and Mastery now deciding, okay, let's have a go. Maybe Liquid Gas just cools some of those tyres off a little bit. Let Mastery push that little bit more. As we're on board with the Williams, let's look back through turn 2 and turn 3. As Vexman and Thomas now are doing a swap positions as well. Yeah, those little battles. I mean, Dom's not unfortunately able to capitalise on that. He's now dropped a bit more time to M2, who's also dropped time now to Blood Diamond, who has 3-second penalty. And who was that? Oh, it was M2 at a moment. M2D2 lost half a front wing, and he's going to pit straight away as well. He's only going to lose one spot to Grimo Trem, quite a bit further back, and a lap down. Oh, that's unlucky for him. Still gets some good points in 10th. There is Foxy in the second of the Ferraris. Good race from him this evening. They took those soft tyres a little bit further on than he probably would have liked, but he's got some of the 10 laps on the mediums now. They'll go to the end. So now, what can Vexman do? Can he do anything about Thomas? Does he have any underlying pace in that Red Bull to pull them a bit further towards Mike? Because that gap's come down by about half a second. As Mike's gap's actually come down a little bit as well. Still having around the 3-second mark. But again, what life is going to be in these soft tyres towards the end of this one? 7 laps to go after this one. And the top 2 going through turn 8, the middle sector as it stands. They've come up to M2, but he's put the soft tyres on, so he'll be a bit quicker now. Try to catch up, which I think is Kavos, who's a lap down, is ahead of him. It is in the final sector. So there's only 2 close battles on the field. This one, Thomas and Vexman, of course, the top 2 as well. You did see an invitation come through for me. That is, I have a race actually after this one, which I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to, because the only assist I use is ABS. I haven't had the practice, haven't had the time to sort of learn the no ABS and to pick my braking. But I said, yeah, I'll reserve in a 0 assist tier that we have in my league, and yeah, I said I'll reserve it, and it's at Singapore. So everybody please wish me luck, because it's not going to be fun. I can assure you there'll be a lot of tyre smoke coming from my front wheels. But we've still got 6 more laps of MRS action to bring you before I depart and put my head in my hands quite a lot. So, but that gap for Vexman's come down by about a second, so they need to class another 6 seconds within the next 6.5 laps. Not that there's a possibility, but it's all about who holds on to the tyres, because Mike is actually close to the top 2 by about 6/10 as well. So he's pushing on as well. Vexman does seem to have that underlying pace. M2 now, wow, those fresh tyres working well for him. 11.5. But further back, everyone just sort of doing their thing, lapping comfortably, and that's key at this moment in time. Vexman going defensive, trying to break the toe of Thomas. Can't get close enough for the DRS. It's all about that energy use. It's how you use the battery out that final corner to defend, because the DRS down that straight reasonably powerful, but it's not the longest start-finish straight in the world. It seems to be elongated because of the banking, and you are flat out from the exit of turn 13, where the DRS detection point is, and then you are flat out all the way to the heavy braking of turn 1. But again, if you get that run, and if your car seems to handle the bumps a little bit better, as Rexman gets a bit slidey, first sign of him pushing that we've seen this evening. Gas just dropped off a little bit, 0.6 of a second. That's the biggest the gap's been for a little while, to the back of Master G. But now Mike, that gap's still now hovering about 2.3, so it has come down. He's doing himself proud as well, Mike, with that 3-second gap, so this will be brutal for him. Thomas now just retake that 4th place. Don't forget, of course, folks, the championship standings. This is going to be a big swing with Thomas in 4th. Of course, the way that the points are a MotoGP system that go down to 15th place, I do believe. And so it's not going to be a big hole, but if Liquid Gas finishes ahead of Thomas by those 2 positions, we will see a new championship leader at the end of this race. So important for Liquid Gas to maximise that as much as he possibly can and try to take the win. But Marcy is really, really close and going to get the DRS and make the move into turn 11. And he does that. Probably won't hurt Jack because he is going to get the DRS once more. And this is now the key of who will get the DRS at the start of the final lap. Who can make it into turn 1, but also if you can make that move there into turn 11, if you get the DRS open as Jack has now, it's quite a decent run to the start finish line, because you see Jack there. And as we cross the line, it was just about Master G in the lead there. So everyone's going to be harvesting batteries. It's a tactical game now, especially for these 2, for who will take that tremble than a 3-second penalty. One. 3 more laps after this. Of course to go. Again, that Vexman not really closing, but Mike has closed because of the 2 battling ahead and the extra wear on their tyres. It was only a lap or 2 laps in the case of Liquid Gas. That can really play dividends. Master nearly had a look there into turn 11 once again, but not quite close enough, so I'd expect to see him trying to make the move. But that gap, look, there is Mike, only 1.7 off the back. Vexman and Thomas can't do anything about the top 3, but Mike, even though he's got that 3-second penalty, still bringing himself into play, can still cause a bit of an upset here. I still give these top 2 something to think about. Master G just starting now. He's got 3 more laps to go. Start lap 34. Thomas and Vexman once again. They're having a good little fun battle tonight, aren't they? I'm sure they're actually enjoying themselves quite a lot with this. Looking down the order, we've got quite a few gaps formed. Dom on his own now. He couldn't keep with Vexman and Thomas, so he is on a lonesome 6th place. But you still got Blood Diamond behind us. Have a look at those penalties again. 3 seconds. Oh, it's 10 seconds for Mike. Apologies, I kept thinking it was 3 seconds. So that 10-second gap is vital important for Mike now to push on, as he is really, really close to these top 2 as Master G makes that move once more. So this is really, really going to be close, because I think Mike's got the DRS. You'll see the activation in a moment. He might just have missed it. He did, but he's very, very close indeed. As we now have 2 more laps to go. There's Monster 3-second penalty, but he's kind of there in 12th, doing what he needs to do. Still scoring some points. And again, we mentioned Blood Diamond 3 seconds, but Grant Morgan needs to close half a second to Voxy to get that position back from him with 6 seconds to the Ferrari man and get some more championship points in their battle. Not just for him with Monster and Vexman in the championship, but the Red Bull boys as well. So this could be a really close swing and a bit of a gain, I think, for the V-carbs as it stands. But this is going to be important. Mike has now caught the top 2 drivers. That's only a 10.8 second gap with one more lap to go after this one. If that gap does come below that 10 seconds, which has actually increased at this moment in time, so those softs not really feeling too good, I think, for Thomas and Vexman. That's going to be so crucial, because Mike could just about hold on for a podium, which is going to be mega for him. Master G is going to take over this one. There he goes. How close is Mike? Is Mike going to be close enough to the back of Jack? In turn 1, he is not at this moment in time. He used quite a bit of his battery as well. I shouldn't really say that out loud, but I have done. Oh, Jack very screwly exited turn 1 as well. He is pushing on. He's got that extra bit of wear on his tyres. And now we start the final lap of the race. Vexman now taking over Thomas. That's going to be crucial as well, don't forget. They're two side by side at the exit into turn 2. Is Vexman going to be ahead in turn 2? He is. And to turn 3. That's crucial as well. Championship, don't forget Thomas potentially losing some points to Liquid Gas. This is the final lap of the race. What has Jack got left to do with Master Z? Can he get the drive out the final corner? Drifting the Williams. Cost himself a few tenths there. That's going to hurt as he comes towards turn 11. Maybe it was his final chance. Throws it in, tries to get the car stopped. He does just about, but I think Master G may just have enough of a gap as we run towards the line, the final corner. I think Jack's tyres have run out. They may do, but Master G is going to take the win this evening. What a race that's been for Master G in the Mercedes. I think he thought the line was a bit closer than it actually was, but there he goes. Liquid Gas in second. Is Mike going to keep hold of third place? Is Vexman going to keep ahead of Thomas? The run to the line is going to use every little bit of battery. He's going to hope the line's coming quickly. Oh, he just got there ahead of Thomas. Thomas in 5th, Vexman in 4th. Dom is going to come home. Well, is he going to come? He's going to come home in 6th. He's got Blood Diamond up his jumper, but Blood Diamond with that 3-second penalty. So may take him before the line. I think he is, but he's going to go back a position because of those penalties. There it is. So Dom does take 6th, Blood Diamond in 7th. Now Grimo has closed that gap. Foxy in 8th, but I think that's going to be 9th because Grimo has got within the 6 seconds, and it is. So Grimo takes over, and the last man on the lead lap is M2, D2, Trem, Monster, Kevos, a lap down, 11th, 12th, 13th, Stelly is DNF'd, unfortunately, for this race, and the last man on the lead lap, M2, takes the checkered flag. And what a race we have just seen there, ladies and gents. That was a great, cracking race, and that was very interesting towards the end. Driver of the day, Liquid Gas. I think that's pretty much up there as well. 5th, I think it was, on the grid. And he has taken 2nd place, and is the new championship leader of MRS with 4 more rounds to go. So, congratulations to Jack. Tough one for Thomas. He was battling with Vexman all race long, and I'm sure he still enjoyed it regardless. I'm sure he had some really good fun with that. Let's have a quick look at the final positions. Master G provisionally takes the win. Liquid Gas in 2nd. Mike just held on for 3rd ahead of Vexman. Thomas in 5th behind the Red Bull man. Dom in 6th. Blood Diamond ahead of his teammates 7th and 8th. Foxy in 9th. M2 with the fastest lap as well takes 10th. Trem 11th. Monster in 12th. Kevos 13th, and a DNF unfortunately for Stelly this evening. My driver of the day, I think I may go with Liquid Gas from 5th to 2nd, but also kudos to Vexman, battle with Thomas all race long as well. So kudos to those drivers. Well done to the top 3 as well. That's that. Enjoy your Easter weekend and your bank holiday, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in 7 days' time for the next round, as the championship is getting very, very tight, very interesting. So don't miss it. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. We'll see you in a week's time. Good night.